Yo, Jess, what up, baby? Of course, girl. Just working. Getting ready to work, Claus. Getting ready to work. Yo, absolutely, Jess. No problem, girl. How was your birthday? All right? Hope you had a good one. Cass, what up, girl? Sucked your closed Mondays because I wouldn't came for my Black Route. Yeah, I know. But starting in November, we're going to be closed Mondays and Tuesdays starting in November. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got Ricer. I'm in Ricer's channel. I'm lurking in there. I need my redemption birthday ice cream. Facts, dude. Facts. Cass, what up, girl? Yo, Catton with the follow. Let's go, bro. Yo, thank you for the follow, bro. Let's go. It was good. Woke up knowing. It was good. Woke up not knowing I'd end up in the yard. Me too. Give me a wizard. Facts. Well, damn, Jess. I hope you feel better, girl. Shit, man. Sending you positive vibes, baby. Me too. Give me a wizard. Facts, girl. Just wanted to straighten up this fucking front area, man. You know, been slacking on it. Me and Frankie boy got a project today. Holy shit. Yo, Meg, what up, baby? Another window? I'm feeling better hour by hour? Facts. No, just, wait, what do you mean? No, just the regular shit. Yeah, he liked projects? Yeah, nice stream like yesterday with that fucking table and chairs. That looked good. Yo, Meg, thank you so much, baby. What's up? Diane, thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Appreciate that. All right, hold up. Hold up, give me a second, guys. Gonna set up here. I just got my Honda fixed. My mechanic finally fixed my Honda. I'm picking that up tomorrow. Had a little pretty penny, but he gave me a really good deal on it because they wanted a lot of money when it broke down in Virginia. So that's my Florida car. Look, can't wait to epoxy them. Then we're doing the shop, baby. Excited that you're open in November. Yeah, Jeff, I have a project I want to do for the shop, but it will have to be made by you unless I spend the wood in pieces. But it will have to pour. It will have some pour. All right. Yeah, we'll fit whatever you want to do, girls. Let me know. Just let me know. We can do shit when you get here. You know, 100%, 100%. Yeah, till November 21st, Jess. November 21st. Yeah. Okay. Guys, how nice it was to see Kate yesterday, guys. Wasn't that cool bringing her back? Like good old days, like good old times. Bringing Kate back. Nina, what up, girl? What up, Durf? What's up, babies? What's going on, guys? How are we? Nina, what up, girl? Chaotic Candy, what's up, baby? What's good? What's good? How are ya? Let's go. Morning, Jeff. Yeah, all right. Not much, how are you? All right, man, just fucking setting up, getting going. And of course, it's like fucking 75 fucking degrees out, like gorgeous tonight, I think. It's really nice out. Good morning to much Nina. Much love, guys. Much love. Claude, you ever figure out your VODs or no? Did you ever figure that shit out yet? Not yet. Oh, Devil! What up, baby? Who's this? Sherry didn't make you do it, man. You know it. You know it, baby. All right. That's mine. Yo, Winter with the host. Let's go, baby. Got any specials today? Yeah, we're doing the blueberry shake, bro. All week long, the blueberry. Kate made me a nice little sign yesterday. I'll show you guys. Chaotic. Dude, watch this little sign that Kate made me. It's actually pretty cool. I'll show you guys in a second. Blame it on the bruh. Alright guys, little ASMR time, guys. Got him, bitch. Got him. Yo, what up, Tim? Alright, no, seriously, I'll be right back, though. Fucking gold, bro. Whoa, it's fucking gorgeous.